Do you sometimes struggle with anxiety that comes with public speaking? Maybe it frightens you or makes you feel a little nervous. Sometimes it seems easier to talk to a group of friends or someone one-on-one, but when all eyes are on you, it can be a little scary and intimidating. In this video, we'll be sharing some tips and tricks to help you excel at the next time you have to present or do a public presentation, whether it is online or in person. So when we have to do public speaking, what sort of things can get in the way? I think it's safe to say that one of the main things that gets in the way of us doing well at public speaking is our fear. Sometimes we may be afraid of messing up, of stuttering, maybe looking a little funny, not making sense, or just fear of how others will judge you. Sometimes we experience anxiety before knowing we have to talk in front of a large amount of people. Our hands might begin to sweat, we may begin to get red in the face. I know for me, myself, I sometimes start to get a little fidgety. These are all normal reactions, but there are different ways we can reduce this and make sure we do well. So before a presentation, whether the presentation is online or in person, there are different things that you can do to minimize your anxiety and stress. One of the main things we can do to prepare and ensure we do well is just by simply practicing. I'm sure we've all heard the saying, practice makes perfect, but for public speaking, this is definitely the case. The more you practice speaking in front of others, the easier it is to do it over time. So how can you practice? Well, this is your chance to gather your friends, your family, or you could even just grab your phone or computer and film yourself so that you can gain some confidence. And the more you do it, the more confident you will be in your skills of public speaking. Sometimes our anxiety can really get in the way of our success, but there are definitely some techniques you can try before presenting in order to minimize and reduce your anxiety. One of the best ways would be to practice deep breathing. Making sure we're taking deep breaths for even just 15 to 30 seconds before public speaking can really help reduce our anxiety by a lot. When we take deep breaths, our brain is able to make our body feel more relaxed and calm for what's ahead. Paying attention to our appearance and sometimes putting in a little bit of effort in how we dress and present ourselves can really make a big impact on our confidence. Making sure we dress appropriately, but also in something that makes us feel comfortable and confident, can be a great technique to ensure our presentations go well. And this includes online as well. It's important that we pay attention to our screens and what can be seen in the background. We don't want to distract the audience with a busy background. We also want to make sure that the lighting is just right and that our faces are able to be seen. I know that for myself, when I get really nervous when I have to present, I sometimes begin to talk very, very fast. If this is something that affects you as well, one way to help this is by taking pauses whenever needed. You can also try to mentally remind yourself as you speak to pace your speech and give yourself some breaths. Remember, it's okay to pause and take deep breaths during your presentation as well. Having a large amount of people looking at you can always be pretty intimidating, but it is important that when you are addressing people, you're trying to make that eye contact with them. Making sure we're not just staring at the floor or up at the ceiling, and that we have people engaged in listening to what we're saying is very important. Even though it is a little scary, one technique you can try is finding a friendly face amongst the crowd. Always maybe finding a familiar face in the crowd or on the screen and pretending maybe you are only talking to them can really help reduce some fear and anxiety you might feel during your presentation. Speaking with a mask can be a little difficult. Sometimes we're unable to hear what the other person is saying, or we're just unable to read a person's facial expression. It's important that when we present with a mask on, that we're speaking maybe a little louder than our normal voice volume. And it's important that we practice this, but also practice speaking clearly, so making sure our words are really well pronounced. It's also important that we have a mask that's comfortable, but also fits well. If we have a mask that is ill-fitting, we tend to fidget or try to move it around as we speak, and that can really distract our audience from what the main point of our presentation is. We know that public speaking can be pretty intimidating and maybe even a little scary, but we hope that with these tips and tricks that you are able to feel more confident in your own skills and ability when it comes to public speaking. Thank you for watching.